Hey everybody, welcome to the Morphin Grid. I'm Jake.
I'm Josh.
And today we are watching the 29th episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Island of Illusion Part 2. That's it. We're gonna
I
watch
guess
it.
that is it.
So last time we talked about Island of Illusion Part 1 for at least an hour and a half. I don't know how much you heard because I haven't edited it yet. But we are gonna avoid that. So we're gonna jump right into it.
I mean, whatever, right?
Yeah. All right. No,
it can't be as long as the last one. It can be if I keep doing this and making it longer, but
yes.
It can't be.
Right. So this one we're going to try to make it as much killer and as little filler as we can because it is
Morphin time! And we're back. And we just watched Island of Illusion Part 2. Why are you staring at me?
I didn't even tell them what we do when we pause the recording and then all that. I didn't even say that. So I guess you just figured out if you're new here. Sorry about that.
It's episode 26. Don't start here.
I mean, you can.
This is episode 29.
Episode
Sorry,
29.
I just read the top of the list on the TV.
Technically, it's episode 20.
26 is the one that we just put
30.
up yesterday.
Yeah.
At the time of the recording.
Right.
So,
hey. It's you and I. We have a special guest audience, my roommate's dog, Dummy Baby. Oh, she's going. She's leaving.
She left.
She's out.
She didn't like that.
So,
you called her out.
Stop it.
First she's sad, and then she's mad, and then she's sad again. So if you're new here,
If you are new, yeah.
what we just did,
what we normally do,
pause the recording.
Yeah. We pause the recording. We watch Power Rangers. We come back. We talk about it. We just want to get this one out of the way as quick as possible because we talked about Island of Illusion Part 1 so much last time that it is my least favorite episode now. So, of the Morphin Grid. I don't know about Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin specifically. Now that you are here and that we've watched the episode of Power Rangers, we're going to talk about it. Before we do that, though, morphingrid.tumblr.com is where you can find us on the internet. littleidiots.morphingrid@gmail.com is where you can email us. Please email us any questions or comments or whatever, because we like reading emails. Josh is holding in a laugh as poorly as he can.
It's like, oh crap, Alpha for you. It's the same thing.
I get it. I botched the first attempt at telling you our email today, because look, I'm an idiot.
You just looked so sad.
And our Twitter is @MorphinGrid, just one G, like in the name of this podcast. We're also on iTunes, which statistically is where you got this from.
Probably, unless the statistics from FeedBurner are to be believed, then you got this from a third party, which you didn't because it's only on iTunes.
Yeah.
So,
so yeah, leave us a rating and review if you feel like it. We would appreciate it, and we will say thank you to you on the air. So you'll get really slightly internet famous.
Yeah.
How about that? Sounds fun, right? Sounds fun to me.
It's so fun.
So we're gonna.
So before we jump into the episode, I just want to say, because this is what, 3 weeks in the future from episode 26 now,
at least 2.
And on episode 26, we alerted everybody to a problem with our feed
that we fixed.
That we fixed almost immediately after we uploaded that.
Yeah.
So
by we fixed, Josh means he fixed.
I fixed,
because that's his side of the thing.
That's a quick Google search.
Yeah.
What happened? I'm going to explain it because I just have to say it. Or else I'll just think about it and I'll be distracted the whole episode.
Right, just let everybody know what happened.
What happened is FeedBurner, we upload the Blogger and then run Blogger through FeedBurner through iTunes.
We use, because Blogger and FeedBurner are Google, so they connect really well, and then FeedBurner is a really easy way to put up an RSS feed, which is how we get this podcast to you via iTunes.
Yes. And the default thing for those two communicating with each other is for Blogger to send or FeedBurner to grab. I'm not sure which way it works. The last 25, I think it's FeedBurner that grabs them. The last 25 posts and puts them in your RSS feed.
Right.
So iTunes only had 25 episodes on it. So I just did a Google search on how to raise that, and I raised it to 500. So we should be good for years
So
now.
here's where it's going to end. we're gonna hit 500. We're gonna have to switch to a new feed, or let the first ones drop off. By 500, I think letting the first ones drop off.
We'll be smack dab in the middle of our midlife crises.
I'm already going through a quarter life crisis, so
I just didn't have that.
Well,
that's a you and Tony thing, I guess. I don't know.
I'm happy for you. But yeah, it'll put us 4 episodes into Dino Thunder.
Barring any bonus episodes.
Barring any bonus episodes. I had a plan for bonus episodes that we'll talk about later. We won't bore you with it because we only have the one, so it's going to stay up there.
And if it doesn't happen, but it's a good idea, and you guys get excited, and then it doesn't come to fruition, and then everybody hates us, and that's not good for anyone.
Right. The bonus episode we have up is our April Fool's episode, which is our most listened to episode. People, why are you telling your friends to listen to that episode?
Get the rest of them. It's out of context. It just sounds like an episode of a Beetleborgs podcast. Out of context, it's not funny.
At least also get the real episode 23 so you know what's happening. But yeah, episode 1 disappeared. We panicked for 3 or 4 days.
Uploaded 26 to see if it was just a fluke with 1, but then 2 dropped off.
2 dropped off.
So then I fixed it this morning.
Yeah, and now we're here.
Which is the day after we uploaded 26.
Yeah.
So
that little thing that I recorded, ignore it.
Just ignore it.
You're fine.
I mean, you've listened to it 2 weeks ago. Ignore it now, though.
Ignore it. Forget about it. So now we're going to jump right into the episode.
Yeah. All right. That was probably the longest segment we're going to have.
I have to preface the episode by saying that for me to justify how dumb the Rangers are in this episode, I just need to say that being a teenager is hard and very confusing.
Yes.
And I certainly didn't have it together when I was a teenager, though I was convinced I did. but 24-year-old Jake is looking back at 16-year-old Jake and going, that kid is stupid. So that, you get a lot of hormones, you get a lot of weird inputs, and a lot of weirder outputs going on. You don't know how to feel, and that's why this episode can exist and not make me super depressed about how dumb these characters got all of a sudden. Okay?
All right. Cool.
So we're starting off exactly where we left off the last episode.
Zach is about 3/4 of the way through fading away.
Zach has lost everything below the nips. He is he is going away.
That's about how comfortable I am in water.
Anything neck. My neck is really the
cutoff.
This is a pool. I'm fine in a pool. Because
Right.
I can see the bottom. I know what's in there. Could be anything in the lake. Certainly could be anything in the ocean. We know nothing about the oceans. We know more about space than we know about oceans, and we live with the oceans. We don't have to go anywhere to find them. But anyway, we jump up to Rita for like a split second, and she's just gloating over the fact that she's winning, that Zach is disappearing. And that's going to be a reoccurring theme over the course of this episode, is constantly going back to Rita for 1 second to hear her going, yeah, they're losing. And then going back, and then coming back and going, oh, dang it. Billy is doing some Billy speak about fading out, and then Trini just says, if he loses confidence, he'll disappear.
I'm kind of over Billy speak.
I think Billy's over Billy speak, because he's not putting as much into it. Or maybe the writers are over Billy speak, because there's some weird combination going on where no one really cares what Billy is saying. You're just waiting for Trini to go.
You're just waiting for Trini to translate it.
Yeah. Then Quagmire appears magically to talk to us directly about how they're all going to die, I guess.
But he says it in a rhyme. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how the heck he rhymes it.
Because this is going to be the second episode this week.
Right.
So if you don't remember Quagmire from Monday, he's a stupid little person who speaks in rhymes and then hates the Rangers because they're also on the island with him.
Well, because he thinks Rita sent them there, like,
to trick him?
to get him. I don't know.
To do what?
He thinks they're friends with Rita.
Why did Rita send this
Because everybody
dude here?
on this island makes you dumb. It makes you dumber than rocks.
It's not an island of illusion. It's an island of stupidity. It's an island of dumb. It's an island of being a dumb guy.
Because his whole basis for that is just Kimberly was like, oh, no, Rita. And he was like, what, Rita? Oh, gross. And he left.
I hate you. I hope you die. I hope you disappear forever, nerds. And Zach's like, oh, I'm a nerd. Oh, no. And then he starts fading away. because that's how it works here.
Oh.
So he's like,
I forget why Zach's fate. Oh, the snake.
Snake, because he saw a snake and he's terrified of them all of a sudden. And then so Quagmire pops in and he's like, Quagmire knows how to fix this, but he says it
Right.
in
He's
rhyme.
like, I'm the only one that knows the plan, man. And he leaves.
And then he leaves. Why tell us? We know. I think we figured that
Well,
out
the
last
Rangers
episode.
heard him because then it fades out for a commercial and comes back, and Jason's like, "Oh man, where's that little guy? Because he said he knows Rita's plan."
No, Tommy said, "What about that weird little dude?"
Oh right,
And then Jason says, "Yeah,
he
does know
said he
Rita's-
knows
yeah.
the plan."
Uh,
and then they tried to remember his name.
Yeah, Quincy Quasimodo, and then Trini was like, Quagmire. You dumb people. He said it like 3 minutes ago. It's Quagmire. She said it with like venom. She was over them.
Yeah.
She gets really dumb at the end of the episode, but right now she's the only one pulling it together, which I kind of enjoy. I have a lot to say about Trini and her fade out moment.
It's the worst one.
I have a lot.
It's so stupid.
I have a lot to say about that. Probably less than I think, but definitely more than I should.
It's like Trolls 2.
So they summon him via Rumpelstiltskin method, where you say his name and he pops up, and he's dejected about it. He's like, "Say my name," and Quagmire appears with a sneer. I don't know. I don't know what he said. I'm not gonna try to rhyme unless it's poorly like that, because his rhymes weren't much better.
No.
So yeah, he pops up and he's like, "Just remember a time where you didn't think you sucked." And Zach's like, "Oh yeah, the time I was fighting Nasty Knight."
It's Canasty Knight.
Canasty Knight, right. I forgot.
I remembered that.
So I wrote it down Canasty even. I just read it as nasty. I guess the K, I thought the K was silent because I'm an idiot.
It's an audio podcast. They can't read a silent K. You got to say it.
I read it
To make the joke, you got to say it.
but I read it and I immediately said that must be a silent K in my brain because Knight has a silent K in it. So I was like, obviously any word that I wrote with a K in the front has to be a silent K. Look.
I guess. I don't know.
All right. So he's fighting the Nasty Knight in his remembrance, in his memory. Or just he's remembering when he beat him, but it's showing like the parts where he was getting shot with missiles.
Well, it's like,
Like-
oh man, it was really beating me up bad.
And he's like, he says, "I didn't think I could beat him, but then I did." And then he comes
That's
back.
what Tommy says.
No, he said it
they
too.
both
They
do?
both say it. I'm pretty sure they all say some form of "I didn't think I could do it, but I did." Because if you'll recall from 28 episodes ago, 27 episodes ago, because it was episode 2, Trini was climbing the mountain.
Oh, that comes up.
That comes up. And the way she gets over her fear in that episode is, "I don't think I can do it, but I have to. But I don't want to, but I need to." And then she just does it. She gives herself the worst pep talk, but it works.
And then it worked.
And she gets over it. Everyone else is repeating that method this
And
episode.
it's working.
So he comes back from fading out, and he's like, "I did it. I'm alive again." And then we jump up to Rita, and she's like, she's excited about that because she's like, "The rest of them won't, though. They'll all disappear." I don't know. She was happy after she lost. Or maybe she's just excited about the next person.
Who is next?
Kimberly. is.
Oh,
We jump up to Zordon really quick.
jump over to Zordon?
Yeah, because jump over to Zordon because
Or
Zordon's
up.
like,
Up and over?
no, we were on the moon. Jump down to Zordon.
We're in a different dimension.
No, because we were just at. It goes from Rita to Zordon,
Okay.
back to the Rangers. So it's down, then over,
Then over. Got it.
If you were following the established dimensional topography of the Morphin grid,
You triangulate.
yeah. So Zordon has no clue what's going on. He's like, "The Rangers, we can't talk to them. What do we do?"
Oh no.
And then
This says the island of Illusion is blocking communications.
like he knows where it is. Just
What if that's where he is?
what if he's Quagmire? There's probably a theory out there that he's Quagmire. Counterpoint. That's stupid.
That is stupid. No, you're right.
And he doesn't talk in rhymes. But I don't know why. I thought up a theory on accident and then put it on someone else on the internet and then told them they were stupid. That's a weird thing that I just did. So Alpha, the whole point of this scene is that Alpha can't can't do anything right. That Alpha's dumb and keeps getting zapped in the butt with lasers from the control panel.
Because the computer's out to get him.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know what that's all about. I don't like any of the Zordon Alpha stuff because it's filler. It's all just garbage. We jump back to the island where they're like, we already covered most of this island. Now, just because we know how to not disappear doesn't mean we're going to get off. And then Billy's like, according to my calculations, there's 95% chance it's, and then he points forward and then immediately points backwards and goes, that way. Let's talk about calculations.
He guessed, but he's smart, so he figured, what the heck.
Let's talk about calculations for a second then. Normally when you calculate something, you have inputs, right? Like you have factors and variables.
Yeah.
Like he has nothing. He has literally nothing. And he goes, it's obvious it's going to be that way. I'm the smart guy. It's behind us. Why didn't you just start going that way? And you have the same amount of information about this island that you did when you got here. Why didn't you just automatically go there? Everyone's being dumb in this episode.
Stupid.
Everyone's being
So
really
stupid.
dumb.
I'm not even talking a lot because, like, you're narrating the episode and I just don't know what to say about it.
Yeah, it's it's bad. Let's just, instead of going like blow by blow, let's just talk about each person's like clip.
All right.
I guess the original idea for this episode was I just take clips of the other episodes when we talked about these
Morphin grid
things.
clip show.
That's I don't think that's gonna happen. That would be very hard to do. Yeah, let's just talk about the individual disappearings and how they're bad.
Kimberly's next, right?
Yes.
So she starts to doubt herself because Bulk and Skull are being nice.
Yeah, they show up as angels, and they do Shakespeare kind of about
like I think it's a turtle.
They say it's a turtle, but all I saw was a sign that said home and had an arrow on it.
There was a dark circle on the ground next to it, which we were supposed to believe was a turtle.
Okay.
I think it was just a rock.
I don't know. Maybe it was both. Maybe it was a rock in the real world, but the illusion was that of a turtle. It is an island full of illusions, after all. So her thing is that if Rita can make Bulk and Skull good, we're all gonna die.
She can do anything.
She can do anything.
But Rita's not really doing it.
No,
because this island existed.
It's an illusion.
And the island is just, it makes you stupid.
That's what the island does. It slowly lowers your brain cells. But, like, they know it's an island of illusion. They know that it's called the island of illusion. They know that everything they see there is an illusion. Why don't they remember that from minute to minute?
I don't know, because Quagmire has to say the same thing to all six of them.
Every single one of them. He literally says, with different words, remember a time when you didn't hate yourself. Remember a time when you didn't suck so bad. Okay, you're done. You did it. So she starts disappearing because she thinks, and then to beat that, she thinks of the toad guy whose name I completely forget.
She doesn't want to, though, because he's so gross.
He's so gross. It's the guy that ate all the Power Rangers and made them stickers on his belly.
Yeah, it's one of my weird memories that I really, really remember the stickers on his belly.
Yeah, it's a really weird thing to remember, and I'm right there with you. Kimberly beat it by shooting an arrow at his mouth, and then by thinking about that, she got better. The weird thing about this is, and it's a clip show, so I understand.
It's a bad clip show.
It's a bad clip show, but like the fact that it's a clip show means like we need to save some money for some reason. Like we either or we just spent too much money and now we can't spend too much. So they're only using footage they already have. I would have thought that they would have used like stuff they found in their personal life, or stuff they did like wouldn't you think Kimberly would be like that gymnastics tournament I won or getting a float into the parade? Like, I feel like I just think she would use, like, a thing like that instead of, like, this one monster I beat. Because they all do the same thing. I don't know if there was a meeting. Like, guys, if we ever are doubting ourselves and disappearing, think of a monster that we beat.
That we beat everybody. Because every one of us, except for Tommy.
Who is next.
Tommy's is so bad.
Tommy's is so bad that it makes the opposite of sense. Tommy is the baddest dude in Revere. We've established this. He is Karate the Human. Josh is stabbing his eye with his thumb.
I'm dead.
So
Kimberly beat
Toad Guy.
Toady Toad.
She's all happy. And
she's back.
And
She fades back in.
immediately, Tommy starts hallucinating.
Well, no, because before she lets herself think about Yucky Toad, I don't remember what his name is.
Yucky Toad.
Yucky Toad. She's like, I don't want to. He's too gross. And then Tommy steps up from behind everybody, and he's like, Kim, you have to.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I guess if I have to. And then she does, and she's fine.
And she's fine.
So then it goes back to Tommy's face going, yeah! And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, God, putties
and
everywhere.
Immediately all of his friends turn into putties, except...
But he doesn't realize it's his
they're...
friends. Like, all of a sudden he's just surrounded by putties.
Like,
where all his friends were standing.
He's like, putties, they're everywhere. There's only 5. They're only in front of him. He's not even surrounded by them. They don't even attack him because they're
attacking him.
They sound like his friends. They're using their voices to say, Tommy, it's us. You're hallucinating. Don't hit us, please. And he is not accepting any of this.
He's karateing all over them. At one point, I'm pretty sure he just kicks Trini down.
Yeah. Dummy baby, quit chewing on stuff you find on the floor.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, you know who Dummy Baby is. Her real name is Barnabas, but I call her a dummy baby.
She looks like a dummy baby.
She's a dummy baby.
Hey, come up here and lay down.
She's part Chihuahua, part bat. She's the heir to the...
Oh, she's bringing her food over there and then eating it off the floor instead of out of the bowl.
She does that. I didn't know her food was down. Continue, dummy baby. If you hear soft clicking sounds, that's her eating.
It's just her chewing. It's
okay.
It's fine.
So Tommy is fighting all of his friends, and we jump to Alpha, getting zapped again and then running around in circles in fast motion because it's hilarious. And then we go over to Rita, who is, I guess, happy that Tommy's about to kill the Rangers. Is that what happened? My note is very vague.
Probably. I mean,
so
if she was like, oh, we're going to get rid of Tommy by making him fade away, but he's going to kill his friends first. It's perfect.
This is the only part that is a good plan from Rita.
Right.
Because let's say like there's like best case scenario, Tommy kills all the other Rangers, fades away. Worst case scenario is what happens. This is from Rita's point of view. This is what happens. He gets over it. Nobody dies. There's a lot of middle ground where he like hurts the Rangers and then comes back and realizes that he hurt the Rangers and then is so sad about that he disappears. Like immediately. Right. I feel like if he came back and Kim was like bleeding from her head and like, you know, Jason was unconscious and Trini had a broken gut and like he'd be like, "Oh God, I'm the worst. I'm still evil." Gone immediately. There wouldn't be like a fade. It would just be like, no more Tommy. Unfortunately, they're like, "Tommy, stop," and he's like, "You're right."
No,
and then
nope. He sees all his friends as putties, so Quagmire shows up and says, "Hey, cut it out."
And he's like, "Think strong thoughts, and you'll be strong." That sound is my head hitting the microphone.
Oh, look at it.
I'm keeping it. Because that is so dumb. Why is Quagmire suddenly the most important guy in the world?
I'm assuming that Tommy sees every person as putties. So a little putty appears and tells him to be strong. He's like, that little putty's got a point. But none of these other ones do that sound like my friends.
Another one's telling me to stop punching them about their head, neck, and shoulders. No. Screw those guys. Oh. I don't know. So who's next?
Trini.
Trini, okay.
Who just collapses to the ground and says, I might be next, you guys. And she starts fading.
Yes. Trini says, I might be next. This means that Trini is afraid of being afraid right now. Trini, if you'll recall, is described, she is given the power of the saber-tooth tiger specifically because she is fearless. And then, if that's not bad enough, the second episode, I'm yelling at the microphone. The second episode is her being afraid immediately.
Yeah.
Right? Which is dumb. We talked about how dumb that was in the second episode. It's on the iTunes feed. You can go check it out.
Yeah, we're not going to do it again.
Yeah. So.
Although we might have to.
But the point is, she gets over being afraid of heights in the second episode. So she is already, number one, described as fearless, and number two, proven to be good at getting over fears. Fast forward, characterization has marched right on past that and is into they're just people, but Billy talks funny and Kimberly chews a lot of gum. Like, that's they have all of their qualities that you thought were going to like grow with them have basically disappeared for at least this episode.
Because the island makes you stupid.
It's the island of idiocy, I guess. If you want
delusion.
Island of delusion.
Does that mean stupid?
No, it means sort of crazy.
No, it's not that. Confusion?
Island of being dumb.
It just scrambles up your brain.
Yeah.
It makes you stupid.
So anyway, she just collapses to the ground and starts remembering the time when Billy was up too high.
She just starts yelling at first, like, because she collapses and she's fading. And one of them, probably Billy, I don't know. We're very close to a Trilly watch, by the way.
We are 1 second away from it. We are 2 notes away.
Well, Billy, the end of Billy's fading sequence is
another one.
Is the biggest one I think we've had in a really long time. Maybe ever.
At least in a couple episodes, because the last one we had was like, maybe it just feels bigger to me because it was like a return. But,
right, yeah.
But anyway.
But she falls to the ground, she's fading away, and Billy, I'm going to say it was Billy, I don't really remember. He's like, Treaty, what's wrong?
Yeah, he was standing right next to her. And he's on a little bit of a hill, so he's a little higher up.
She's like, I think Rita might come after me next. Oh, no. And then, like...
And Quagmire pops in.
Well, I think Jason's like,
stop.
Well, Treaty, cut it out. And she just starts yelling for Billy, which we don't find out right away that she's hallucinating him being up too high.
Right. So she is yelling about Billy being up too high.
And it cuts to Billy for a second. He looks at the other guys. He's like, what is...
I'm on the ground. And then she's also talking about being up too high and heights. And she's sitting on the ground. And they're like, no, wrong. You're fine. And it's just super weird. Like,
because everybody else's clip has been of them beating the monster. But Trini's fear phase is a clip of her being afraid before. They didn't make her afraid again. They just reminded her that she was afraid before.
And then you'd think, I see if I keep talking about like if we just remade Power Rangers,
if somebody tells you, hey, remember that time you were scared but you got over it,
that would not make me afraid.
That would make you lose self-confidence.
Right? No, that would empower me a little bit.
Yeah,
you're right. I did stop.
Your colors would become more vibrant instead of fading away.
Like if we were doing this again, if we were like straight reboot of Power Rangers, episode by episode, but update it and make it make a little more sense, Trini would have been immune.
Yeah.
She would have been immune to at least getting afraid because she, number one, has already conquered fears, and number two is described previously as fearless.
Like, this
is like capital letters annoying.
In this island of illusion.
They're on the island from Lost.
Being afraid, or like, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say words, and I'm awful at that. Like, losing self-confidence equates only to being scared of something.
Right.
I'm not scared of, like, I don't have a lot of self-confidence, but I'm not afraid. It's not because I'm afraid
it's not because of
drowning.
Fears, yeah.
Like, I just stay out of the water and I'm fine.
Yeah, right? Like, I have either terrible self-esteem or self-confidence, and then the other one is good. I'd have to think about it for a minute, but regardless.
You're pretty confident.
I have low self-esteem then, is the problem. So, I don't know. Being afraid doesn't make me less confident.
Right.
Like, I don't know what I don't like bugs, but in fact, being afraid of things makes me more confident in terms of bugs, because I see a bug and I'm like, it's you or me, buddy, and you're going down. And then I kill that bug, and then I'm better. Like, so it's just super weird that, like, fear, it's not like the island of afraid.
Fear is what makes you doubt yourself.
I don't know. I feel like
fear can be a cause of it, but it's not like
the only cause.
One.
It would have been a lot better if they would have just, like, had a couple, like, if they would have had, like, a bunch of things like what happened to Kimberly, like where Bulk and Skull are lose, like, because that's not going to cost any more money. That's not going to cost, like, a bunch of money. You know, they're not saving a lot of it by having clips, you know? Like, they could have just done things like that where it's like Trini's parents are like, you're not doing good enough in school. You know, like, you need to be better. Like, yelling at her about stuff. I picked Trini because she's Asian. There's a stereotype right there, but like
she's also the second smartest one.
Yeah, like and obviously Billy's not going to be doing bad in school. I mean, like that's just Come on.
Even as a Power Ranger, when he's not Power Ranging, he's
just
studying
thinking
or
about
creating
math.
sciences.
Yeah.
I don't
Or just inventing miracle
Teleportation.
technologies. Like, if they would have done things like that, where, like, somebody just shows up and is like, here's a reason you should be less confident. Or if Jason would have seen, like, Tommy going, I'm the better Ranger. I almost beat all 5 of you. I'm a better Power Ranger than you are. I'm the leader now. That would have made Jason lose confidence. I think that would have been cool. Like, things like that they could have done that would show, like, not just the only way to get confidence is by beating monsters.
Yep.
Or
the only way you can believe in yourself is if you've killed giant monsters.
If you've killed monsters with arrows. Like, I don't know. It's really weird.
Anyway.
But
did we talk about how Tommy got over his by remembering a time that he beat 5 putties before?
Putties? No, we didn't. Yeah, that's how he got over it. First of all, putties should not make Tommy afraid. He routinely beats up 100 putties at a time.
There was that one time he got tied to the bridge.
Because there was 900 putties, all right? 5 is not a problem for him anymore. No. But anyway.
I think Rita used more than that to test him.
Yeah, there was at least 6. But anyway.
Back to Trini fading away because she might be next, and she was scared once before.
Time for Truly Watch, you guys. Okay, I was super excited when this happened. Dummy baby. You're fine. She's really dumb. She's like, I need to get out of this room because she's in my roommate's room. She's like, I need to get out of here. And then she comes out and she'll like hang out with us for a second, and she'll try to go back and be like, "You're gone forever! Oh no!"
The door's closed.
And then she starts fading away. She lost her self-confidence. So the Truly Watch is as follows. As we talked about, her afraid place is Billy being in trouble.
Yeah,
adorable. Number 1. That is the best.
Which is kind of good. Like it's not a fear of Trini's. It's Trini's fear of Billy
of losing
trouble.
Billy. Like, how great is that? And like
we're already kind of contradicting what I said about everything being fear based. But anyway,
but it's hers is still a fear.
Right.
She remembers being afraid of heights, and then like I think we're putting a little bit of the stuff that we put on there.
Right.
And, like, and it also is like like a fear of losing Billy is still being afraid.
It starts with her being afraid of being next.
Yeah, of being next. First of all, she's afraid of fear, and then it's terrible. We're gonna skip past that because I'll start screaming, and it'll be the worst podcast we've ever done. So she's afraid of losing Billy. Billy is the one who rushes to her side when she falls down to the ground. She just like crumples. She's like, "Oh, if I'm next, I'm dead. I'm doomed." And Billy is like the first one there. He's like, "You're gonna be fine." And then like immediately, how she gets better is she protected Billy, and Billy was fine.
Yep.
And that's how she got out of being disappearing. There's another Truly Watch at the end that we're gonna save.
There's another one because Billy's next.
So there's another Truly Watch in like a minute.
I don't even remember why Billy starts fading. Trini comes back.
Oh, I wrote down why Billy starts fading, and it's my favorite one because it's just past too stupid. Like Tommy is too stupid. Trini is just dumb.
This is still too stupid.
And then Billy's is just far enough past that to where it's ridiculous and great. If they would have all gone this far, I would be much happier right now. But Billy's...
Right. So Trini's back then.
Yes.
She's faded back in, I guess. I don't know. And she's celebrating with the other ones, and then it cuts back to Billy, whose arm is starting to fade away.
Do you know why Billy is starting to fade away?
Is it because
science has failed him?
Yeah.
It's because he says, I can't even use science to get out of this. Science failed him, and that makes him existentially depressed enough to disappear forever. That's amazing. This is the opposite of Trini being afraid of fear. This is
right.
Billy having a thing that has never once failed him, that he can always go back to, that like, oh, we can't teleport? I made a car that can drive 3,000 miles an hour. Or get up to 3,000 miles an hour in 6 seconds, so we can drive anywhere in the universe in that. Also, it flies. Oh,
it's the only way to fly, if I'm not mistaken.
According to Zach, 100 times. Everything gets shut down because Tommy destroys the command center. Billy fixes it using his science.
Right.
He knows science and he knows how to fix things. He's the one who got rid of Alpha's virus. Science has always worked when Billy applied it.
Well, I mean, he got rid of Alpha's virus by just taking it out.
But he thought of it science. All right, I'm grouping everything into science right now.
All right.
But like the one time he's on an island with no actual metaphysical properties, I guess. Like there's nothing real about this
There's
island.
no laws of physics.
There's no laws, so he can't calculate anything except for how to get off.
Even then, I think he was wrong. Why was there, when Kimberly saw Bulk and Skull, a sign that said home?
Home. Because I think there was a trap that way. And Rita's like, look, home. Go that way.
But they didn't even mention it.
Or it's a real sign, and she was too afraid of Bulk and Skull doing Shakespeare to even look at it. She saw the turtle, not the sign, whereas I saw the sign and not the turtle.
Right. That's weird.
And then, like, I also like
maybe that was the way to the turtle's home.
Maybe that's what Bulk and Skull we're talking about.
Okay.
Okay. I also like that they think there's a way off of this island that's floating in Rita's
There's
bathtub.
like a giant exit door.
Yeah.
They just walk through.
It's like in Pagemaster. Like there's just the exit at the end.
It's been a long time since I've seen Pagemaster.
We'll have to fix that. I think it's on Netflix.
Sweet.
Anyway, so scientist failed Billy, and he starts disappearing. And so Quagmire pops up and is like, remember those times? Same thing. Remember what I said to the other guys?
Remember when you beat Madame Woe?
Yeah.
And then Billy's like, I do remember that.
I do remember that. And so it cuts to the fight with Madame Woe, which was cool because it didn't show him taking the gem off the dumb mask.
No, it didn't.
Because they figured out how goofy that looked. And then he comes back, and there's some Trilly Watch that I don't really remember.
He fades back in, and the first one over there to congratulate him is Trini, but she doesn't just say, hey, good job, buddy.
She like hugs him,
She hugs him, like, affectionately.
I believe the internet term is glomp.
No, that's like a running...
Is that a tackle?
That's like a running hug.
Okay.
Like a tackle hug.
I'm not very good at the internet.
No, she runs up to him. I'm going to describe it because it was kind of cute. She runs up to him and like hugs him in that way where like she snuggles up inside of him.
She's just happy that he's still there.
Yeah.
Because this would have been a domino, right? Billy disappears, Trini disappears because of her fear from a second ago. And you're two Rangers down. So number one, Trini's like, I'm so happy that you're not gone.
Your two smartest Rangers
are gone. Because then the other guys
your smartest Ranger and your second smartest killing machine are gone.
Yes, and your pretty smart murder weapon would also disappear. And then I think the dominoes from there would have been like, Trini is a stabilizing influence on Kim's life. Like every time Kim is like
they're
down,
basically best friends.
Yeah, they're best friends. So like Trini's the first one there to be like, we'll get another float. Let's buy you lunch. You know, things like that. Without that, Kim would have been gone in a minute.
Yep. Kim's gone. Tommy's gone.
Kim's gone. Tommy's gone.
And Jason and Zach just spar on the island of Illusion forever because they're still best friends.
They're still best
fine.
friends. But Jason would have disappeared, and then Zach would have disappeared.
Because as we find out
next, I think he's the only one left. Yeah,
Jason can't handle not being a good leader.
Yeah, which is the only one. This is the other one that I really like. It was dumb how it happened because they're like. Because Goldar just showed up floating head in the sky and went, you're a bad leader.
Yeah, he's like, if you were good, you would have left already.
And then he just goes...
Jason's just immediately stone-faced. You're right. I'm awful.
You're right. It's like a really wide shot looking down on him. He's like, you're right. And then it goes up to Rita, being like, oh, we got him good. You're a fine leader. You were correct. And then, like,
it could have just been, like, they could have made Tommy...
been like, I'm the new leader of the Power Rangers because you're not getting us off this island.
I'm way better of a leader than you'll ever be. And then later on, Tommy does become the leader, but Jason's fine with it. It's weird. It's another...
I don't think he was fine with it because then he hopped the first train to Switzerland.
Power Rangers has a weird thing about jealousy that they just won't let it happen.
Yeah.
Unless it's the focal point of an episode between Jason and Tommy.
Right.
Who aren't jealous about their standings in ranking. Just
jealous of each other once karate.
In competitions.
Yeah. It's weird.
They're just competitive.
Yeah. Like they handle emotions, like teenage emotions, really poorly in a lot of ways, but in a weird meta sense, really well because, like I said earlier, being a teenager is freaking confusing. So like being a teenager who has to deal with monsters and like all this other stuff, like that's gonna give you a whole new set of problems that no one can help you out with. Like Tommy can't go to his cousin or older brother or whatever and be like, hey, Space Witch is dogging me like crazy. She's trying to turn me evil again. That happened to you. What do you do about it? Because it's never happened to anybody else before. So like he has no one that can be like, oh, don't let her. Believe in yourself. Ask Kimberly out on a date because she is got goo eyes for you.
Come on,
okay?
man.
What do you do? I've never seen you before in my life, and I can tell you that right now. I don't know why his cousin hasn't seen him in his life. My story took a weird turn. Anyway, Jason thinks about beating King Sphinx, which has nothing to do with leading, because that's the time when he was alone.
Yep.
And they had to come rescue him with the power crystals after he got the power crystals.
Whatever, it works.
It got him back, so I guess it worked fine. So now that they're all confident again, they get their stuff back because confidence equals loot.
I feel like they had it the whole time, just the island made them not see it.
Yeah, made him dumb.
Made him stupid.
Made him dumb and made him do a bunch of things that were out of character for any human being.
Half of me feels like that, but the other half of me is like, but their power coins appear back in the middle of their hands. So
right. Oh, you mean like they had the power coins?
They just had
the
the communicators on and their power coins the whole time.
That's how I felt about the communicators. I didn't notice. I thought the power coins were just on their belt again, and that.
But like,
made sense.
First of all, they get to the island of Illusion, and they don't have any of their stuff. Like, where did it go? If Rita has it, why did she just give it back?
Maybe the island took it. It's the island from Lost, right? So it's alive.
Okay.
So it can think for itself, and so but it's an evil version,
right?
So it's like I'm gonna take their stuff, and then there's a weird rule in place that like once they all get their confidence back, I have to give them their stuff back.
Okay.
Once they beat me, they win. So like that's what happens.
It's an island of honor.
It's an honorable
respect that
illusion island. So they
all overcome their fears. Then.
They all overcome their fears.
Rita can't handle that, so she turns into a giant.
No, she doesn't, because the island is tiny, I think, is the idea. The island is in her bathtub floating. And
so she gets in the bathtub and shakes it because she's so mad at the Power Rangers.
Shakes it, and then they're like, we got to get out of here. So they morph and teleport off the island.
They morph back into the fight.
Yeah.
Because when you morph, you go where you're needed as a ranger.
Right. And the island is crumpled and explodes, I think, with her shaking it. I think
she blows it up.
Yeah.
She like throws it, and as she's about to blow it up is when they warp off the island.
Yep.
So she blows it up with her wand.
So they teleport back into their Zords, where skinless, unknowable demon Frankenstein is just waiting for them.
They were just waiting, yep.
I don't even think anything else is destroyed. He did not seize this opportunity at all, and here's why. Because Lord Satan is sort of in charge, right?
I guess.
At least I think he's more of like an amplifier. Like, she's like, Lord Satan, or Lothar?
Lokar.
Low carbs. No bread. She's like, you need to make Frankenstein weird. And he's like, got it. But he can't do anything else about that. All he can do is make it weird. Right. And Frankenstein takes orders from Rita. Rita is so distracted with these kids losing their confidence that she doesn't give him any orders. So he literally just stands there waiting until something happens. And the first thing that happens that needs him to respond is the Rangers
They come back. They shake off the web or whatever that. I don't remember what that
toxic
was.
Foam.
Toxic foam. They shake it off.
Normally we record 2-parters or 3-parters like at the same time, but we couldn't, so we don't.
We couldn't, so we didn't.
So it makes sense that we forget things that happened last episode. They make Mega Dragonzord or Dragon Megazord.
They call it Mega Dragonzord, but it's Dragon Megazord.
Yeah, because the other one is Mega.
Because it's Megazord with a dragon hoodie on.
Yeah, it is a hoodie. I want a Dragonzord hoodie now. People,
when I was a kid, I used to take my shirts off except for around the neck, so like they would hang down over my arms, and then I would be Mega Dragonzord. Because I was a little idiot.
I'm glad, because that's why we're here now. If you weren't that stupid guy, we wouldn't be friends. Because I was a similar stupid guy. I don't think I did that, but I'm sure there was just as bad things. But yeah, they make Dragon Megazord, call it Mega Dragonzord. They don't really do anything. They hop right right into Titanus to make Ultrazord.
No, they
kill
as Mega
Frankenstein?
Dragonzord, they evaporate Frankenstein. Okay. He's gone. They do some attack, and like a beam of light comes down, and then he's gone.
And he's gone. And then they jump into Ultrazord.
Well, Lokar like goes ah.
He
So
does
then
this-
Jason's like, we just need Titanus.
We're just gonna get Titanus. When he does that, though, and this might be a different shot that I'm remembering, or I'm making it up because that's been known to happen. I feel like he looks over his not shoulder because he doesn't have a
Nope,
shoulder.
that happens. Jason's like, we need Titanus.
And he goes, "Huh?"
So Titan, and he does the summoning posture, and then Lokar goes, "Uh-oh."
He looks to the side and he goes, like, what? Titanus? No. Like, it's just a goofy thing for, like, this all, like, omnipotent floating head to be afraid of.
Right.
Like, and it's just a goofy gesture, and I love that. So they shoot every missile in the world at him. They shoot guns, they got missiles, and he teleports away.
He just leaves,
He tricks them into...
which means he must come back.
He comes
During the
back in the
Cyclops
Cyclops
fight.
episode. Because they specifically say, oh,
Lokar.
Lokar. I say Lothar.
Like
Lokar got away.
like a low rider. It's a low car.
Lokar. So then, he got away. So they didn't beat him, but they aren't trapped on an island anymore, so we're going to call that a win, I guess. And then, finally,
You remember the dance
the
competition?
moment you've all been waiting for. The dance contest that set up the episode. So it starts...
Part 1 exists only to set up a clip show.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Okay, Chris Sims, fortuitously enough, it would have been even better if it came out when this episode aired.
Yeah,
But
because he posted it yesterday, which was a Monday.
I'm gonna link it. It's gonna be in the description.
Okay.
It's the 9 weirdest episodes of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Can you guess what number 1 is? Or
Number 1 and number 2.
1 and number 2. It's Island of Illusion Part 1 and 2 because they are the weirdest episodes. He says specifically in it that like whenever they can't follow the footage or they don't follow the footage or choose not to follow the footage, whatever the case is that they are not following the same story or like
Right.
just using a lot of footage, they go 100 miles in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
They go full Bat Shatner crazy and like it's always something really weird like this. It's always it's never like they never just make a regular story out of it.
I don't think I read any of the other entries in that because I haven't watched those seasons. There
I-
might have been one that I did.
I read all of them because one of them is
I really expected the pizza episode from Turbo to be in there.
no, because that's weird, but it's not this same kind of weird. Like, because this one is either
It follows the footage, oddly enough. Like-
yeah, exactly. The other one that I read was from Dino Thunder, where they watch a Japanese TV company is making a show based on the Dino Thunder Power Rangers lives. So it's the opposite of real life.
Right.
Because we are adapting their stuff. They're adapting a real thing that's happening into a show. So they end up watching an episode of the Dino Charge is the next one.
Yeah.
Dino Thunder, whatever it's based on.
I couldn't tell you.
I have no idea. They watch an episode of that show. That's what the whole episode is. And then it cuts back to them on the couch. And then back to them watching the episode. Like, that's the whole thing. And then it's them talking about how they should get paid for it, I guess. I don't know. That's a weird face you're giving me.
That's a weird thing you just said.
Right?
You told me it before, but I
that's
don't.
500 plus episodes in.
I didn't hear it that way. That's after we reach our cap.
Yeah.
So get episode 1 while you still can,
While you have
kids.
I mean, you'll still be able to, like,
I'm thinking
download
we're
it.
going to put it on SoundCloud.
Well, if we have it up still, you'll still be able to download it right to your computer,
Yeah.
like via the Twitter or the Tumblr.
The joke
rather.
was hurry up because you've only got about 5 years before it's
so
gone.
500 episodes. Let's see. We've been doing this for 4 months, almost 5 months.
Yeah.
No, almost 4 solid months. And we have 25 episodes. That's
We have-
over 1 episode a week.
We have 27 episodes
27.
up.
27 episodes up. So that's like a little. It's like 1 2/3 a week. So if we can get going,
We're pretty close to being back on a 2 per week.
that's
schedule.
about what 75 or no 100 a year.
Yeah.
So then yeah, 5 years from now, good math, I guess.
I just made it up, but
Oh.
here we are.
Hey, dummy, what's up?
So yeah, I think this this two-parter, Island of Illusion 1 and 2, this will be the start of us going back to a 2-a-week
Yeah, hopefully.
schedule if we play our cards right.
Yeah. So anyway, Bulk back to the dance contest. The only two contestants are Bulk and Zach.
Remember in episode 1 where Zach got upset because Bulk was bad at dancing? And he might
Unfortunately,
lose
I remember
because
now.
Bulk is bad at dancing. Bulk is his only competition.
Unless it's a thing where they didn't show all the people, like they're the last two. Which is what I'm thinking it is, because
I guess it was stupid.
But Bulk dances so bad he gets a -2 for
he gets
an
a
overall,
-3.
No,
a -2 overall.
Yeah.
He gets a 0, a 1, and a
and a
-3.
-3 to bring his score up to -2.
That would bring it down to -2.
Yeah.
Because he got the -3.
Yeah, I
mass.
mean, it made sense in my head for a second, but you're right. It would be down. So then, but we didn't do what was Kimberly wearing, because part 1 is she's wearing the pink vest and the jeans from
same
last
thing.
episode. And then part 2, which is right now, is Return of the Dress. You remember that dress that killed me in the episode that we just aired? I think it was 26 to talk about the sundress. Because, it's gung-ho.
Right.
So she wears this pink dress to cheer on Tommy and Jason, I guess. This is now officially her, my friends have a thing, this is what I'm going to wear.
Right.
It is a floral pink dress and Doc Martens. I would have married her on sight.
There's a pink choker on
And
too.
a pink, married her before, I would have just known about that in another room. And I would have, and a wedding ring would have materialized in my hand so I could propose. So then Zach starts dancing.
He's not sure at first.
He's doing.
Bulk just did the worst ever.
He did a spin. He did basically the same thing that
And he
made
landed
Zach.
flat on his back.
Skull jumps on
And
him.
Skull jumped over him and did like a hello, my baby, hello, my darling.
The Michigan J Frog dance. And then
So Zach's like, I don't know you guys. And Tommy's like, really?
you serious? Then he goes to dance and he's dancing. He starts doing good after like a second. You know, he does a million times better than I could ever dance. Even on my most confident days, I could not dance this well. And then one dude behind him is super into it.
Yeah. And then it cuts to Jason, who's like, smooth moves.
My best friend, no big deal. MBD. Gonna win this competition via dance, whatever.
Angela doesn't know what she's missing.
Yep. And then there is a thing where like Trini's like, "Oh, this is really good. Who's the DJ?" And then they look over, and it's
Quasimodo.
And then Kim says it's Quasimodo, and then Trini goes, "It's Quagmire." Like she's like, "Come on, Kimberly."
She says it like Quagmire. Like
There-
God, Kim.
Don't worry, you're never gonna have to see him again
Nope.
because he's met you now. So
He found a really good career as a DJ.
As a DJ, apparently he's really good. And then Zach wins. Shock! He got some
Straight tens.
perfect tens all around. And he wins as if there was any doubt. And the episode ends. Felt like you were there, didn't you? I did.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So that's it. We are 59 minutes into this recording.
We're done. Final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Thank God it felt shorter than the first one.
Final thoughts on Island of Illusion as a whole.
As a whole, it's bad. As a whole, it averages out to be bad. Because
I read
it's long and contrived in the first part, and then it's dumb in the second part.
Yeah.
So I would say bad. What are you chewing on?
I read an
me say
article. I
something.
don't think it was really an article.
That little thunk was her sniffing the microphone.
Dummy.
You're in an article.
It was a thread, I guess, on like a message board.
Sure.
That was like, I'm about to get into Power Rangers. Where should I start?
What episode
Whatever.
should I watch?
What episode should I watch? And somebody was like, for season 1, just watch anything with more than one part because everything else is kind of throwaway.
Wrong.
It's wrong, first of all. Come on. But like when you get to Island of Illusion, they'll recap a little bit.
But also, it's not a great set
But it's
of
not
episodes.
a good recap.
And I don't
like.
And this is the only time this might happen, but it would be better if we have never watched Power Rangers before and we only watched Island of Illusion Part 1 and 2.
Right.
Because then we don't have any precedents for anything.
Right.
Like, we don't have any precedents for how good multiple part arcs can be. We don't have any precedents for how good single episodes could be. Like,
Because multiple part arcs before this were the best.
were solid because
it was just Green with
just
Evil.
Green with Evil. And there have been really good episodes, like Foul Play in the Sky is probably my favorite episode so far.
I don't remember that.
It's the plane one where Kimberly's
right. Yeah, no, that's a really good episode. That's really good Kimberly character development.
Yeah,
like that's not a skippable episode.
Right, and like if you're just gonna skip it because it's one part, like, and also Day of the Dumpster's only one part. You're gonna skip that?
Well, it was like the first episode and then any multi-part
like I think
arcs.
I think what you should do is if any of your friends are like, "Hey, I'm getting into Power Rangers. What should I do?" Tell them to start watching from the beginning and then listening to our podcast afterwards.
Along with it, so that way they can get two like crazy people who are we're not like psycho, but we're really crazy and
we're not that other Power Rangers podcast.
And how much we like Power Rangers, not to the point where we're freaking nerds about it.
Not funny, Conan O'Brien.
But I feel like it would. I don't want to toot our own horn.
Yeah.
It's really weird to talk about ourselves.
Not to ring our own bells, but I feel like we could
listening
provide
to two
an
people
insight.
who love Power Rangers almost the most.
Yeah,
it would be the most, but wrestling exists.
Yeah, unfortunately for Power Rangers, there is wrestling.
The fact that there's not a Power Rangers themed wrestling stable of luchadors just boggles my mind.
The fact that there's not a wrestling themed Power Rangers Sentai yet boggles my mind. Toei Animation, or not Toei Animation, Bandai, give me a call. I got ideas. It's basically just going to be New Japan. All the weird crap they do.
But there'll be Rangers that are the color of their tights because they're all color coded over
yeah,
there.
It's going to be great. Anyway.
I want to watch that show.
Grapple Sentai Wrestle Ranger. This would be high five myself because of how much I like that. Anyway. Yeah, I feel like if you watch episodes of Power Rangers like for the first time and then listen to this, I think you're gonna get a whole new set of takes on it. You know, because like I love wrestling the most, and I still wait patiently for Brandon Stroud's Best and Worst of Raw every Tuesday because I want to see if what my thoughts are were validated by a guy who's a lot smarter than me.
I got the DVD set, and you got the DVD set. And we rewatched them individually of each other before we did this podcast.
Yeah.
And like High Five didn't bother me at all. It ended and I was like, that was an episode of Power Rangers. Next one.
My problem.
But then we watched it for this and we analyzed it. And like as you were saying things like, no, that really is dumb. Or no, that really is a cool thing.
I didn't even like when I first watched it, my problem was that like I don't remember some of these episodes. Like, just straight up do not remember them, even though I've watched them multiple times.
We just watched them. I still don't remember all of them.
Like,
unless you tell me what they were about.
Like, I mean, by doing it one by one, I remember a lot more, obviously, because, like, that's how my brain works.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm really good at watching TV. Like, I'll just sit down. I watched 11 episodes of Jackie Chan Adventures this morning. That's the thing that I did today.
I saw your tweet.
Yeah.
It was nice.
It's so good. You guys.
No, I know. I've seen it. It was.
Yeah. Check that out. It's on Netflix.
Stuff.
But, like, I could sit down and watch 14 hours of Power Rangers, and I did that sometimes.
You did that,
and
because I started out ahead of you, and I'm pretty sure you finished first.
You were, I think, at least 2 seasons ahead of me.
You were definitely ahead of me by Zio, because you watched all the Good Adam episodes before I did,
and I couldn't talk about them because you hadn't seen them yet. But yeah, like I would just sit down and watch 9 hours of Power Rangers, like on my day off from work, or like I would squeeze in 4 hours at the end of the day. You know, like. That's just like how I operate when I'm into Power Rangers. But like nothing bothered me, and at the same time, some things weren't as awesome. Like I don't remember Foul Play in the Sky, so it didn't make that much of an impression. But like there's some Zio episodes that I am all about.
There was a few where like I was just watching them. I wasn't, you know what I mean? Like they were just on.
Well, and the other thing is
they just glazed over me.
Yeah, like because you were probably playing Pokemon.
Almost guaranteed.
I was definitely on the internet for most of them because I live tweeted most of my sessions, and I made and lost followers. So you know, good riddance,
broke even,
good riddance, and welcome to the party. Not in that order though. But yeah, like, but like now we're watching it. We watch an episode, and then we will, we'll talk about it for 40 minutes.
We talk about a 20-minute. Episode of Power Rangers for
at
40 minutes to an hour
minutes,
usually,
blow by blow, and like you get a new appreciation for it. So like I feel like if you watch along, like if you watch the episode and then we talked about it, like you're gonna get a whole different experience than if you're just watching it because you're also hearing what we think about it. And like when you hear other people's thoughts on things, like it makes you remember parts.
Definitely.
And like it helps you form more informed opinions, even if it's not the same as ours. Because if you hear ours, then you go, oh, that's another opinion out there. How does that affect mine? You do math in your head, and then then you have a different outlook on it. And like I like show. The reason we're doing the show the way we are, the podcast the way we are, is because I like podcasts like that. Like the only one I have off the top of my head right now is Attitude Era podcast, which they go through every pay-per-view of the Attitude Era.
And there's Gravity Falls Gossiper.
Gravity Falls Gossiper. That's
which
actually,
we're basically structured after.
Yeah, that's pretty much. We just, if you guys like the show Gravity Falls, check out Gravity Falls Gossiper. If you don't like Gravity Falls because you haven't seen it, go watch Gravity Falls and then go listen to Gravity Falls Gossiper. I was just literally thinking about Gravity Falls the other day. Like I just sat there in my bed thinking about it. I have most of it on my computer because I downloaded my iTunes.
All right.
And I just didn't watch them. I just thought about it. But yeah, so it's like a structure after that. There's also James Bonding, where they do that with James Bond films, which I really like. Like I like it. I like things like that because I like when things get analyzed in like in a positive way. Because like if people who don't like something analyze something, it's gonna be negative. We love Power Rangers, and I did not like this episode, and like you got all my thoughts on that. And so, like, it's like from a place where I want it to be better.
We didn't talk down about how Power Rangers is so weird and stupid. It was just this episode was kind of dumb.
It was kind of dumb, and it was weird and a little stupid.
But we've also had episodes that we've done where we praised it to the highest of the heavens.
Like,
so.
Yeah, so, like, I mean...
Green with Evil is still my 5 favorite episodes of anything.
I don't think any Power Ranger episodes are in my top 10. Oh, maybe the I Am Spartacus episode. What is that called? It's the finale of Lost in Space. Lost in Space.
It's just in space. They're not lost. They're just there.
Then they're lost in the galaxy.
Yep.
But they aren't. There's no lost galaxy.
But they're in it.
They're just lost. There's no actual galaxy. It's the galaxy. It's the same one. You'll see. It's bad. But like...
I made it through Turbo. I can watch Lost Galaxy.
Yeah, yeah. But like, I mean...
Chasing in Space, though, is so good.
Chasing in Space is really good. The Phantom of the Opera episode, the Universal Monster episode of Zeo, like those are really good episodes. They're like you can. I mean, I feel like it's super genuine. You can tell when things are bad to us because we love them.
Right.
Like it's not just because we don't like it that it's bad. It's bad and we don't like that because it can be better.
I think we're done. I think
we're done. So, in conclusion, if you want to talk to us on the internet, morphingrid.tumblr.com. You can email us at littleidiots.morphingrid@gmail.com. Or you can talk to us on Twitter at morphingrid. We're on iTunes. Those are the cool places on the internet. Like I think I just said, but then we had to figure out what a noise was. We're on iTunes. Leave us a rating review if you feel like.
Later.
Smell you later. And until next time, may the power protect you. Poorly timed inhales. It's not a thing you can fix. Don't do. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Oh, looks like a UFO.